Welcome back to the Eight Man Breakdowns podcast. This is where we discuss all phases of the game of football, including philosophy, play concepts, questions, and more. All right, welcome back, guys. Today, I just kind of want to talk about the importance of being creative on offense, trying new things, and really just not being afraid to be different. I think it's easy to fall into routines, stick with what's comfortable. We've all heard the phrase, this is how we've always done it. I was talking with Coach Blissing not that long ago, and I've talked with many other coaches about that, but I just believe those words can be a trap. If you're living in the way you've always done it, I think it's preventing or hindering you from being the overall best that you can be. Thinking about all these great offensive minds in the game of football today, and I'm not talking obviously just 8 man, I'm talking 11 man because that's what we all watch on Saturdays and Sundays, 11 man football, even though if you're listening to this, you're probably an 8 man coach or smaller. But I mean, imagine if those legends, Bill Walsh, Sean McVay, even now, or Kyle Shanahan, Mike Leach, Lincoln Riley, all the different trees we have, all these great offensive minded, legendary coaches on the offensive side of the ball, they'd potentially be unheard of, had they just stuck with the traditional offenses that were being ran, when they first got their chance to be an offensive coordinator and call plays. Think about if they wouldn't have pushed the boundaries, tried new things. We wouldn't see the West Coast styles that we see today, or we wouldn't see the RPO style stuff. I mean, the up tempo, the heavy spread offenses attacking all parts of the field, potentially even the air raid. Obviously, if Mike Leach wouldn't have really pushed the boundaries there, it probably wouldn't even exist again if they wouldn't have tried new things. So the question then goes into how can we be creative in our own offensive strategy? How can we do that? Okay, so first thing I would say though is don't limit yourself to just watching your own team. This day and age with Twitter, YouTube, obviously, and but all the resources you can have out there on the internet. The Coach Tube and clinics, and like I said, Twitter is the main one because you can see it instantly, or Instagram too. You can see it instantly and watch it over and over. The TikTok era that we're in. We're 8 man guys, but 11 man translates. It really does. I mean, is it going to be the exact same? No, not at all. There's three less guys, but get your whiteboard out, get your pen and paper, get your notebook and draw it up. I guarantee you, you can take that concept and put it into the 8 man game. And you can put it into your own offense too. I guarantee it. And the kids will love that. The kids will eat it up. They'll enjoy running it, whatever it happens to be. But what I mean is don't limit yourself to just studying your team or what you've done in the past. Open your eyes. I mean, there are so many things out there. Am I saying you need to go install every single new offensive play there is? No, absolutely not. And do you need to change your entire philosophy or get rid of all the things that have been working for you? No, definitely not. But if you're somebody that's always done what you've always done, and you're struggling or you can't get over the hump, then consider changing, adjust, add one or two different things, and then go from there. Because every team is different. Every year is different. High school football, especially. College and the pros, obviously not as much, but high school, you have an entirely new, different team every single year, and you need to adapt to those guys for you to be as the best you can be. So don't limit yourself offensively to what you've always done. The next would be experiment. Like I said, get your whiteboard out, draw it up, make sure it fits in your terminology and fits within a formation that you've already got. Or if not, add a formation to your playbook. In 8 man, there's only so many formations you can do, but you can always move things around. And so then I would say experiment again. Once you've experimented that and got an idea, take it into practice. Get your guys out of their comfort zones too. Again, I've said this a million times with many different coaches, but and I know Coach Dale Bussing, I just recently talked to him. He said, don't pigeonhole a kid. If you got an athletic kid, use them as an athlete. Put them in different areas where it's going to help you and encourage that kid to be comfortable doing different things. Don't narrow him in as he's got to only be a receiver, or only a tight end or running back or whatever the case is. Embrace the idea of trying something new and experimenting. Don't be afraid to try something new. And then ask your players too. That's another thing. Get that input from your players. They're the ones playing the game, right? I just told our guy, I said that to our guys a million times. I think I say that probably, I don't know, once a week, probably almost. I can't do it for you. I don't get to go out there. My day is over. It came and went. And As much as we love as coaches to strap them back on, we can't. They're the ones out there. So don't be afraid to ask for their input. Actually encourage their input. Say, what do you think here? What do you think? What do you guys think about this? Teach it to them first, obviously, but if they're confident in it, then why shouldn't you be? Again, they're the ones out there on the field. The next thing with that is don't give up if it doesn't work. Okay, and I've definitely been guilty of that where I installed a new what I thought was going to be a great 2-point play, right? And we executed it in practice many times. And then we get into the game, it looks like crap. The defense had the guys and they stopped it. Right? So even if you fail, don't give up on it. So right there, even though it failed in its execution in the first attempt in a game, it was a positive, a win-win for me because I grew. I learned something by trying something new and teaching it to my guys, and so did they. They learned something new as well, and I've been able to come up with better 2-point plays and better implement them to my guys as well. So again, that process of experimenting with things and adapting to it and continuing to grow even if you fail. Every failure is a learning opportunity. So don't give up or quit trying new things just because it fails the first time you tried it. I've been thinking about innovative offensive ideas. I always try to do new things. And I know from my high school days, I know we were very, very plain Jane. I mean, we didn't try a lot of new things. We were very successful with the very limited things that we did. And so it was a great coaching choice to do what we were doing because he adapted his offense and defense to the guys he had. And it worked great. Now, obviously, times have changed since then, and kids and parents and the whole world is much different now. So I've adapted and changed, and jumping back when I first started to apply for head coaching positions about 5, 6 years ago, I had just recently read probably my favorite football coaching book of all time was Doug Peterson's book Fearless. And of course, I was always a fan of Doug Peterson as the offensive coordinator under Andy Reid at the Chiefs. But overall, when I read the book Fearless, the title always kind of stuck out to me. And one quote that I used in my clinic a few summers ago that really stuck with me too was he basically said, I think for myself, I don't follow the crowd. When it comes to play calling, I do things differently than other coaches. I think outside the box and I'm different. And so that always stuck with me too. And that was again, came out in 2018, 2019, somewhere in there, right when I was really formulating my offensive plan, trying to apply to be a head coach myself. So it really did sink in to me that, I mean, I want to be different. What a great book to hammer home that message. Get out of your comfort zone and continue to grow. Our kids deserve it. Our kids deserve us to continue to grow and to be the best that we can be. So don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of trying something new. So be fearless and be different. And that's going to do it for this episode of the 8-Man Breakdowns podcast. If you ever have a question for me, feel free to comment below on this video or follow and message me on Twitter at 8-Man Breakdowns. If you've learned anything or enjoyed the video, please click subscribe and check out some of my other videos right here. And as always, guys, thanks for tuning in.